You are a soldier of the Noble Alliance, a coalition of kingdoms upholding the ideals of valor and justice across Azeroth. An Alliance expedition sent to explore an uncharted island has recently gone missing. As a bold new recruit, you have joined a rescue mission departing from Stormwind. Find the lost expedition members and bring them home. For the Alliance!
Hey everyone, I am super excited to be bringing you this new episode of World of Warcraft gameplay. I hadn't played World of Warcraft in over a decade since my freshman year in college when I tried to play the demo back then, and my PC graphics card just could not handle World of Warcraft for some reason, and I didn't have the money back then to buy a new graphics card, so I kind of abandoned my quest, and yeah, finally picking it back up again due to the pandemic, looking for something to do with friends, and you know, we kind of stumbled upon World of Warcraft, and I was able to play the first 20 levels in the demo for free, which was really nice to just see if I was going to enjoy it still. And yeah, so far really liking it. The way that they have set up these first 10 levels, which is what I'm going to go through in this video, and kind of my thoughts on how it's changed, at least since I last played it, which was, I mean, that was vanilla a while back then, and yeah, very different, you know. So we get to play together, which is really nice in this opening area, and you know, it kind of walks you through how to play again, which I really enjoy. We're playing as the Alliance. So this is basically the tutorial here on the ship, just showing you how to fight, how to cast your spells, you know, where your skills are going to be when you level up, like right here. And yeah, it's a cool little introduction. You're on a ship, and you go into a storm, and then the ship crashes on this island, and you're trying to find another expedition ship that had also crashed. This captain, her son, is in that other expedition. So you could see that giant wave just completely capsized our ship, and we end up shipwrecked on this island with no resources and not really knowing what to do. This is still kind of a continuation of the beginner area, so at this point you don't have any gear. The Alliance forces that you're with are kind of in disarray. Everyone's injured. So they ask you to go just, you know, do some of the like hunting and gathering quests that you're used to in playing WoW, and at least in the beginning, there's some novelty to the hunting and gathering quests. You know, as I've played through it now, they start to wear off pretty quickly in terms of their enjoyability. But, you know, I guess that's kind of, you know, any MMO has that grindy aspect where you kind of have to do these kind of quests in order to level up, and, you know, there's not much else that, you know, at least I haven't seen an MMO that's been super innovative in that sense of finding another way to get you leveled up. And but yeah, the thing that I've really been enjoying, that I'm going to show you a lot in these some of these clips, is these big fights. So almost every area that I've encountered so far in these first 10 levels, you're kind of doing some small quests. You have to kill 8 of a certain guy. You have to gather 4 of, like, I don't know, a tusk or a seashell, something random, but then it all adds up to this one big fight with like an ogre, or there's been some really good ones. Here there's like a necromancer, and those kind of pinnacle fights are, to me, what makes World of Warcraft, and this leveling scenario that we're in with World of Warcraft, where you get to a pretty curated approach to at least the first 10 levels, where it's very scripted of going here and then doing that, and then that leads you to something new. The big battles make it all worth it. There are some kind of silly moments that I don't know if I'm a fan of, like this moment where I don't even know what this is. It's like a weird helicopter that you're just tied to on a rope. I could kind of do without stuff like this. But at the same time, I do know that World of Warcraft and Warcraft itself, like Warcraft 3, there is some technology and innovation with like the goblins and the dwarves. So I know they wanted to just kind of include that type of thing, which I get.
We will take your soul and raise the dragon from the dead.
The full force of the Alliance will rain down upon you.
What I also enjoyed, like I just showed you, there are some good cutscenes going on here. Those have been really good, and something that I didn't get a lot of from other MMOs. You've seen on my channel that I am playing Asheron's Call, an older MMO, but actually not that much older than vanilla World of Warcraft, maybe by a couple of years. So I really appreciate that this game, has some cutscenes. It's very polished, as you would expect from a Blizzard game that's been around for, I don't even know how long World of Warcraft's been around. I guess like 15 plus years now. So, it makes sense that it's very polished. There are some weird moments, again, like same thing with the helicopter. There's this large boar that I'm riding, and then it shrinks when I'm done with it. So, those kind of moments are a little bit strange, but, you can chalk it up to, hey, there's magic, and, that's what it is. There's some fighting, some more good big boss fights here with an ogre. And one other thing that I noticed in that previous clip is that there are some good things with instancing that I really like.
The ogres are using necromancy to raise a dragon from the dead. They need sacrifices like us to fuel their magic. They're about to start a ritual. It's already begun. They're going to use the life force they gathered to reanimate the dragon.
Then we need to move quickly. Recruit Private Garrick. The Alliance never gives up hope, even in the face of disaster. We'll put a stop to these rituals before the ogres can complete them. Let's go.
So even though there's this main overarching storyline for these first 10 levels, there are some side things that you can do if you want to. For instance, like this is kind of a side area, but it's related to the main quest. It's this is more tied to like your individual class. So for instance, I made a druid. You can see I'm shapeshifted into like a feral cat, which I have really been enjoying the shapeshifting. It's not something that I have played in many other games. So it's kind of a cool thing where I have certain abilities when I'm shapeshifted and then certain abilities when I'm not, that, I can shift back and forth to use both of them. It's got some good balance that I found kind of later on in these 10 levels where you can do a lot of damage, you can be a healer, and I think I really like that about this class. And then my friend that I'm playing with is playing as a fire mage, so they're able to, kind of put a lot of DPS. And this isn't really a cutscene that's happening here, but it's kind of a scripted moment, and there are a lot of these happening throughout these 10 levels that make it feel like a very curated experience, that they've put a lot of thought into these 10 levels to kind of get you hooked on the game, which, it's I can definitely say it's worked for me. They got my $15 a month subscription after I completed this demo, kind of a spoiler of what my review is going to look like, but obviously enjoying the game. So, and I think that this is why, because there's no down moments, and it's something that hooks you on continuing to play the game, where you finish a quest and you get a reward, and maybe you get a level or a new skill, and then it immediately is like, hey, go to this next area and do this next thing. And it's very easy to just keep going. And here's another one of those big boss battles. And that's the other thing that really kept me hooked was, what am I going to fight? What's the next big fight going to be in these sub areas? And that just kept me wanting more. And I can see why World of Warcraft has been so addicting to so many people for, over 15 years or 15 years, whatever it may be. I'm going to have to look that up so I can put it in this video. But I know people have been playing World of Warcraft for a really long time, so I'm hoping that my kind of outsider opinion, or someone who hasn't played an MMO like this, but has been playing, you see me be playing Asheron's Call and playing Diablo and games like that. So this is quite a big change at least for me. And some of the graphics are really good. Like this bear looks so cool, and it's just gigantic. And I've said this so many times already, but I really enjoy fighting these really big things. So I know that WoW gets a bad rap for kind of having cartoony graphics, and I do see that. I definitely do, especially, I'm playing as a night elf, and, it's not necessarily the coolest guy to look at. And, you can tell it's very bright colors, very bright color palette, which you don't normally expect from a game like this. But in certain instances, it works. I thought that bear that I showed you earlier was, the perfect example of what works for this game. So, and the cities, you're going to see one of the cities at the end of this, little video. And I think they did such a great job. So this is another kind of weird moment where, they make you look like an ogre. You're like transmutated into an ogre. I'm not really sure why this needed to be in. I guess it's kind of fun, but I just don't really... I don't know. I could do without these like silly moments. And I'm going to show you one with some of the sound from the game coming up here where they're like, hey, use like the emotes that are available to you. And, maybe some people found it funny. I think it's kind of cute, but like... I could do without it, I guess, is all that I'm saying.
Their leader. This one got some. It is time to complete.
So you get an ogre telling you that you can dance, and I don't know. I could do without it. So this is the best part about the first 10 levels, is that once you progress to the end, you get to do basically a mini raid. So for this one, it was me and my friend, and then a third random player who just happened to be in the area. You kind of join like a quest queue, I guess, and you're randomly grouped. So I didn't actually know this third person, or we didn't speak to them to like invite them to our party or anything like you might have to do in other games. And specifically like when I'm playing Asheron's Call, you have to invite someone to your fellowship. So this was a really nice system where you don't have to know that person. The game just groups you randomly with them and puts you into this instanced combat to fight the boss of these first 10 levels. So the story here is basically these ogres are trying to resurrect a frostworm. Amazing. Really cool. I loved frostworms in Warcraft 3. They're one of the big boss units that you can get. So just the idea at this point, haven't seen that frostworm, but the idea of having to fight one or them trying to summon one, that really intrigued me to keep going towards the end here. We're just fighting all these ogres to get to the end. And like I said, it's the three of us. So where this would normally be incredibly challenging, we are able to, I don't want to say that it was easy because there were three of us, but we were able to handle it pretty well. And it is quite a challenging fight. There are a lot of ogres, as you can see, but, with some of our abilities. And I was still learning the game, so you can see my combat is not the way it should be. I should be in cat form here the whole time, just throwing DPS on these guys, but, I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that's what's so great about this, too, is that it's pretty forgiving. I didn't die in these first 10 levels, and... like I said, I hadn't played this in over a decade, so didn't really know what I was doing, but was able to make it through. A lot of cool fights here, a lot of big guys. I don't know what it is about fighting the big guys. I think it's just cool to see. Especially coming from a game where you don't see a lot of that. And even in Diablo 3, which I've played a lot of, when you fight a big guy, it's like, oh, I'm fighting Diablo again for like the 20th time. And maybe that's how this will be once I get through it. But at least for now, it's kind of new and novel. And I know when we've been like seeing big rare spawns on the landscape, we've been going after them just because that's one of the cooler parts. So we kill the giant ogre, and then continue moving up the spire to the top where the head ogre, like the mage, is trying to summon the frostworm. at this point, I'm just trying to use all of my abilities to heal and to, do any DPS I can. But like I said, I'm clearly not efficient because I should be in my cat form doing damage and not casting spells to do damage.
There's Gorgroth, and the dragon he's trying to reanimate.
Puny vermin, you will not stop the ritual.
I really like how the NPCs kind of come with you on a lot of this stuff, and they're able to seamlessly make them be there for anybody who's doing the quest, and then also individualized for me, and then individualized for the person that's in my party playing with me. So there's some good technology going on there with the game where it's able to at one time be for both of us, and then at another time be individualized. So I'm not sure how they're able to do that, but it's really, really cool technology. Coming again, I'm gonna keep throwing back to this. If you've watched any of my videos on Asheron's Call, you know that game is much more basic in terms of what it can do. I also think that the voice acting in this is great. They did a really smart thing where each NPC says something, but they don't try to speak all of their lines. So if you're like getting a quest from an NPC, they will say something to you when you walk up in a voice acted line, but it's not all of their speech. A lot of it is written out in like a block that you can look at, that you can read if you want to, or you can just skip and say, hey, this quest wants you to collect 10 things. I think a lot of games go wrong where they try to have the entire thing voice acted, and then you're stuck sitting there and listening to the whole thing, or trying to skip through the voice acted part to just figure out what you have to do. Okay, here's the Frostworm. This is what this whole thing builds up to, and it is just pretty much everything you could hope for. This giant worm spitting its, I don't know what, if it's, maybe it's not a frostworm, but it's spitting like necrotic energy at us, trying to kill us. The scale of it is incredible. It uses really cool attacks, like they are pushing me back. I don't know what else I can say about this fight. I think it's all worth it. You should play the demo even if you don't want to play the game, because it's free and you can get to this fight. And I think that if you enjoy playing video games like I do, and that's probably why you're watching my channel, that you will enjoy this fight. And there he is, dead. We get some pretty good loot, and then we are, out of the instance back into the regular world, and we get to ride a griffin. I mean, this is another one of the great characters or creatures from Warcraft 3, which is the Griffin Riders. Those are some of my favorites. So now you get to ride it yourself, and I just love this overview of the whole area. This is all the area we just fought through, and now we're just getting this really nice bird's eye view of everything. And from here, I think the landscape and the graphics look great for a game that's this old. It's not trying to be ultra realistic, and like I said before, I know it gets a cartoony reputation, but I think this is really good. There's a flying airship. I had no idea what this was. I still don't know. So if you wanted to let me know like exactly what that is in the comments, because you've been playing this forever, I would really appreciate that. Learn something new about this game that I'm just starting to get into. Yeah, I just thought this was a really cool way to kind of end the experience for the first 10 levels. So this basically takes you to Stormwind, which is, the big Alliance city, and that's kind of the end of it. I'm going to just show you that last quick cutscene that I got at the end, and that's going to be it. So if you enjoyed this video, please press that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. I hope you want to see some more of this World of Warcraft content. If you do, let me know in the comments. I subscribed for at least 1 month, so I'm going to, ride that out and see how much I enjoy it and how much I can get out of it. And thanks again. Bye.
As one of the ancient and elusive Night Elves, you have ventured forth from the sacred forests to aid your allies and protect the wilds. Azeroth faces countless threats. Bold heroes are needed to rise up and defend her.